Well, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and yeah, lots to cover in this one. There's more Zoo Poo delivered, it's been very wet, we've got a fertiliser tank that rocked up, sheep have been scanned, all sorts of things to cover. But yeah, I'm going to start off, as farmers always do, with the weather. And yeah, since the 1st of January, it hasn't really stopped raining. In this area, we've been quite lucky because we haven't had the really big, substantial amounts like over 50 mil a day, but we've had pretty constant rain every single day. I've measured it and we've had, I think, 4 dry days since the 1st of January. That's completely different to last year. Overall, 144 mil of rain we've had. Last year, same period, and we had 52 mil of rain. So we've had almost 3 times as much rain in January and the beginning of February than in 2025, which was a really wet year. And these, I'm just going to grab the camera. These are these flood bunds that we put in, must be 15 years ago now. And these control the water going down to the village. So this was built up, it's all soil built up here. And there's a pipe there. I'm not going to go in there, otherwise I'm going to get very wet. And it's a certain diameter that holds back flood water to the village that flooded really badly in 2007. You can see sort of up the field. We'll go in there in a moment. You can see the sort of flood up there. It's not too bad actually, but that then holds the water, controls the flow. And if I go to the other side of the bund, here's the outlet. And there you can sort of see the diameter of the pipe a bit better. And it just shows you the sort of flow of water coming through the farm. And this is dry in the summer, but this is the flow, you know, this is just controlling the amount of water going down the village and beyond. And then there's a secondary bund down there. We were here yesterday. This was significantly more water up here, but it just is a way of controlling the water going down to the village. And it does a really good job. When they first put it in, they said it'll be a once in a 300-year event. No, it's not anymore. This is a regular 2 or 3 times a year, something like that. This is controlling the water, so it just doesn't mean that the village floods. We've had one flood. You lose control if the water then comes over the bund, because then suddenly it's not just that diameter pipe controlling the volume of water going down, it's actually going over the top, and that's when we had a flood. And we've had a little bit of flood, nothing like 2007, but annoying that it didn't quite control it. So we're just tweaking with how we sort of block the water flow through those big pipes. Anyway, I thought I ought to show you that, but let's go and have a look what's happening with the sheep. Yeah, you just see the water rushing through here. I'm always amazed that this grass really doesn't mind being flooded like this. Just comes straight back as though it's never happened. And this field just down here, this is regularly flooded. I don't know how many times a year, but yeah, several weeks of the year it's like this. And then you go up the bank and it's all fine. The sheep here these are actually lambs, so these are just, they would have been born late, well, almost into the sort of May time last year, and they're just finally getting up to weight. So they're just grazing off this grass, making the most of it before they go off. Last time you're here, we were looking at the breeding ewes. They were all up here, and they actually got scanned. Fortunately, I wasn't on the farm at the time, but they penned them all up, and yeah, they all got scanned, and I think the percentage is 220 lambs, so 2.2 lambs per ewe was recorded, because these are Cambridge, the breed is Cambridge ewes, and they have a reputation for very high lambing percentage, as it's termed. And I'll drop in the scanning, how it works now, so you just sort of understand how it all works. You put them in a race and they quickly scan them and spray them to tell how many lambs. They're having 2 or 3 lambs.
left and right. You see the ribs. That's another one there. So there's 1, 2, 3 there. Quite a lot of triplets here. One there, one on the left and on the right. That's the lamb's head just there, that bright skull. That's the lamb's head on the left. You can make out the skull and the eye socket. Nose is pointing downwards. That's the body on the right, going through to the head down there. That's one or two.
Has this one got stuck in the brambles? I would have thought it would have run off by now. Let's have a little look. Yeah, you have, haven't you? You haven't got a knife on me, unfortunately. Ah. I'm going to get a knife out the car and we'll cut that. We had one yesterday do the same, but as I approached it, managed to free itself. Well, I think this one's a bit more trapped. Let's have a little look. I'll get you out, just don't panic. I just want to see which is the... That's quite a big one there. I'm going to take the ones, the lesser grip ones out first. There's one by its head, which should just mean it'll free when that one goes. No. Let's just get this one out as well. This one away. Yeah, I thought you were out. There we are. Yeah, I'd like to get the others off, but... Anyway, there'll be a guy whose sheep they are, they will come out and check them. And if they want to get that one, they will. Would have liked to got a bit more off it. But anyway, that is what sheep do. They see brambles, they say, oh good, let's go in there. I think it's just a little windbreak, and that's why they go in and they nuzzle up to there, and it all goes horribly wrong. It's just what sheep do. Anyway, we'll go and have a drink and a graze now. Right, let's go and have a look at my pile of Zoo Poo. It's got a lot bigger. Well, this is my Zoo Poo, and it's termed that because next door to us is the Cotswold Wildlife Park, and they have to clear all the pens out for all the animals there, from rhinos to giraffes to lions. Everything you can think of is up at the Cotswold Wildlife Park. A very good day out, and this is it. And they have this silo, and once it's full, they say, oh, can you come and empty it out? And that's what this is. So we've had 2 lots now. That was the original lot, and this is a second lot. But it's good stuff, and I'm very grateful for it. But there was a bit of a bonus. I had Caleb, Caleb Cooper, if you know him from Clarkson's farm. He's organising all this, and we'll be spreading this on the ground here. We've got only about 50 hectares to put on, so we need, well, ideally about 1,000 tonnes, and I think we've got just over 200 tonnes there of muck. But this also came in, and this, you know, we were doing the wood chip. Well, when they're grading the wood chip, and the wood chip that then goes off onto a drying floor, they grade it off, and all the green stuff and the reject stuff, they then ensile, and this is terrific stuff. So I think there's about 130 tonnes of this, which is rotted down wood chip and all the waste from the trees and everything else, but a really good soil conditioner. Well, that's going to be terrific. So yeah, about 130 tonnes of that, and about 200 and something tonnes of Zoo Poo. And the good news is that we'll be emptying that silo two times more before we actually have to spread it. This is all in this enhanced overwinter stubble, so I'm not allowed to spread it until the summer, which is a bit of a pain, but anyway, it gives it time to rot down, so we'll come in at that time. The only downside of bringing in this amount of muck at this time of year is all that rain and these big heavy trailers. We've ended up in a proper mud bath. Because each trailer is about 15 tonnes, the tractor's probably 10, 12 tonnes, trailer another 5 tonnes. So big heavy machinery coming in and out. This is the downside. It looks horrible now, but we will repair this and we'll sort it out. It's the only downside, but there's more goodness in that. So I'll sacrifice a bit here to have the goodness of all that. Now, I want to show you the new hedge that has also gone in since the last time I did a video. Now, it's a run along here that we've done. Obviously, we trimmed all the trees back and then the hedge went in, and it went in well, about 20th of January. We had one dry bit when we first started. I'm going to drop in some clips now of what we were doing. Basically, we trimmed back some of the trees and the bushes, and we also rotavated just to give a tilth. So yeah, I'm going to drop that in now. I'm just doing all this prep now for the hedging that's going to start going in tomorrow. So it's just trimming back, working the ground. We've got to work out the exact line we're working to here. It's not exactly where they've rotavated, it's just sort of clearing it. But we're gonna, yeah, that telegraph pole is always a pain, but we're gonna try and put that within the hedge, and then it'll go in with these trees. You see, we trimmed them here. There you go, so it's going down that line there, just making it all up. And I'm gonna show you the mix we're putting in with this hedging. Got some hollies. Now that's not normal to put holly in the hedge, but around here we have noticed every now and then a holly springs out of some of the older hedges around here, and we always just put some in. It takes a long time to grow though, because it gets sort of smothered with all these that we're putting in as well. Now the majority of it is a sort of hawthorn that you put in. It's normal hedge material, you can lay it. It obviously has the prickles on it. So yeah, for sheep and things, for proper hedging. But we're also putting hazel in. It's basically a copy of the hedge that we put in about 20 years ago, further up there. There's Acer, these are field maples we're putting in. This is, yeah, dry roots as you see it here. This is the time you put this in. It's just sort of dormant, although if I look at the hazel, you just see some of the buds. They're not far away from starting up, so that's why we're on it. And you can't really stand by and say, oh well, I'll do it next week. Once they're here, we want to crack on. But yeah, the guys have made a proper start. Typically it's turned wet. It was beautiful yesterday, but we're cracking on. And you can see the spacing we're doing here. Cane goes in, and also the spirals to protect them. All these things. Now this area isn't too bad for deer, so I'm hoping we get away without putting a fence around it or something. We'll just keep it here. But basically we rotavated all this up yesterday, and then this is the first stage. So they make a trench. We just spin round, Patricia, you'll see the little mini excavator. There's a bit of a trench dug, and then they put the bare roots in there, and then they shovel around them, and then they'll finish it off. Just bring the soil up. If it was better working conditions, they'd probably do it all with the shovel, but we'd just bring that soil that's the other side towards them and level it ground, which I think they've done down here. So this is sort of more finished down here. There's a bit more finishing off to do here as well, but you can just see how it's brought it up. So yeah, I can't wait to see this get going really. Hasn't been a hedge here. It's not as though we're replacing a hedge here. They've had trees here, but this has always been arable. But this will grow up over time and turn into a proper hedge. And once it's all levelled out, it's a bit more finishing to do. The plan then is to bring wood chip in, and that will control the weeds as best we can. So and keep the ground damp underneath the wood chip as well when rain does come. And we'll just monitor it. We'll just see, hopefully we won't get a dry year like last year, and we won't have to water them. We'll see. And every now and then you come across a big stone, and these stones, they come about because when you're working these fields, arable fields, every now and then you hook up a stone. For whatever reason, stones like that don't go down, they come to the surface, and then you pick them up and chuck them in the hedge. That's the theory. But when you're planting a new hedge, you come across them and think, why didn't I put that somewhere else? But anyway, they've got 2 or 3 days of work to finish this off. but I think it's going to look great. You can see how much was done yesterday, just tidying it up, just getting all the branches off, just so we get a sort of straight line. It's a trail of hawthorn berries. If you look here, you can just sort of see them on the soil there. If you follow it on, this is a little hidey hole, I would imagine, for a squirrel or something. There you go, there's his little den, been snacking big time. And that's roughly where the hedge is going to stop, because I need a gap to get the combine through and the sprayers and things. So we're putting that, this is where the tram line is. There you go. There's a sort of tram line there, you can see it the other side. So then the sprayer will be able to move between those two trees and the combine will get through as well. So that bit is not going to be hedged, and it's hardly worth putting a bit of hedge in here. I think we'll just leave these two trees just as they are, really. And this is the finished job. So quite a lot of prep. It's it's nice to actually work the ground. It's a bit overkill. We could have just spaded it in, but they were slightly bigger, these. Sometimes they're shorter than this, about 30 centimetres, and you can just put a spade and make a slot, fit and put it in like that. But I just wanted to do a bit more work here to give them the best start. You can see where that pole is, and here's the fence line along here. And then once they were all in, they then built up the soil around all the hedging, all the bare root going in, and then we put wood chip on top, which is to seal in the moisture and hopefully control weeds to a certain extent. I think we'll probably have to do some weed control as well as that. But you can see how we've tried to incorporate these sort of clumps like this, so it'll be a bit more than just a brand new hedge as the years go by. And it is one of the most satisfying things you can do. We look at the other hedge, quite a lot of pride really, and it's nearly, it's 20 years old as near as damn it. It makes a great windbreak. Now there's a holly, so there's the holly. It does take a while for the holly to get going. It doesn't take off, but you can see this is, I think that's a rose just coming. Look how the buds are developing on it, so it's not going to be long. That's hawthorn that you just can't stop growing. There is a danger that deer might nibble it, but it's not like an individual tree, which is just a nightmare. This is a hedge, so it'll just bulk out. I'm not too worried about deer on it. And anyway, that is the new hedge. We'll keep an eye on it as the year goes on. But I just want to show you another part of the farm, because we had a delivery that caused a bit of grief last week, because it was very wide. That was a right game getting that fertiliser tank in. It's a big old thing. It's 3.5 metres wide, and it's not heavy, it's just awkward. And I was very surprised we could do it just on the regular pallet tines on the Manitou with a big strap around it, and then sort of back it into position. It's a smaller tank, so I'm only going to take a load at a time, which I've ordered up, because it's coming up to fertiliser time. But this is the wheat, and you can sort of see the last thing this needs at the moment is a burst of nitrogen fertiliser. It's still green, it's still growing, it has not slowed down this year. The only thing is, I've picked an area out in this field, I am now just starting to see where it's starting to get wet feet. So this, if you just come down to my wellies, you can see if I do that, that is wet. And this has gone beyond field capacity, as it's termed. This soil has got slumped because it's just got so flipping wet over the last few weeks. Even though we did all that subsoiling and everything, it's had enough. So now you can see this is looking a bit sickly here, and I can see the odd yellow patch around the field. That is just the season. Oh well, there's always next year. But that's what happened when you get continuous rain for, well, what is it? It's about 40 days less 40 days that it was dry, but a real shame, because the wheat is looking fantastic. I just have to take these sort of areas. That has ruined its yield potential, unfortunately, but it's not a very big area. And then we're back into all this is growing very well here. It's just odd, isn't it, how these fields do have this different sort of soil across it. But basically, yeah, that's where we are on the farm. Wheat prices yet to improve. It's very interesting what's going on, that the farmer demonstrations are still going on, but they're having a go at distribution centres now. The immediate problem, as I mentioned in the previous video, is profitability. We have to get the profitability of farms up, and to do that we need to get better farm gate prices and not be a price receiver, but somehow create a premium for British produce. And that is proving very hard, and especially so when we have a government in place who does a trade deal with the US and says, oh yeah, bring all your ethanol in here from corn, and that closes down 2 ethanol plants in the north of England around Hull, taking 2 million of feed wheat out of the market, a consumption of 2 million. It was just ridiculous, but there we go. They just don't understand the consequences of some of this stuff. Anyway, rant over. I'm all right. I'm supplying this wheat to Chicken Farm, like we saw when we went and visited Ben and we saw that wood chip. That is the use of this wheat. End market, we have some big chicken farms around here, Golden Valley, and that is where all this wheat is going. That's for another video. Hope you enjoyed this video though, just what's happening on Harry's farm. If you did, please subscribe. Be lovely to get the subscription a bit higher. We're about 175,000 subscribers now, which is great. Let's see if we can get it up to 250,000. Thanks for watching. More videos coming on very soon.